Sky is a mile high. They want American pie. 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 Going for my independence, nigga, I live this. Born and raised in music to be the illest. One of the realest niggas that ever kill this shit. Supreme lyricist with the aim of a marksman, bitch. I be chillin' like the scorpion inside of the matrix. Morpheus, cold-blooded amphibian. Watch a Democrat fight a libertarian. Scary times that we live in. Lead still exists inside our fucking children. The golf course just got 1 million. Record labels and drug dealing. Kratom, oh what a feeling. That left Lil Wayne stuck to the ceiling. Said stop snitching, niggas still squilling. Shout out to all my real ones. They want American pie. 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 They want American pie.
Till the day that I die, I wanna grasp of that American pie. Under clay skies, concrete roads and shroud. The wind that I feel is Mother Nature's sigh. I'm in the first world, the point most high. At the peak yet seek things for my decline. Controlled environments, but reality denies all this fluff and the happiness subsides. Silence, only holograms can buy. Looking at your screens, complaining the obscene. All the mean tweets at you, yet you're searching for a mean, all for comfort, overcoming disease. While over yonder, dark people fiend, but with their needs, you are amongst fiends. Whose mind is in the third world that the country hurled into the alleyway of papers that whirl around bodily constitutions that comfort, they only see a delusion. They try to touch, but can't, so much confusion. Unbroken circles with no intrusion. American pie.
What's good? What's good? Music Talk Mondays. Yo, what's good? Like I said, Music Talk Mondays back in the building. You know what I mean? BMG Mo won't be here today. He out handling business. You know what I mean? So I'm going to represent for the both of us. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to BMG. You know what I mean? Yo, we about to get into this shit for real. Like, you see the background. All right, so we dealing with Joey Badass, Kendrick Lamar, and Daylight, right? What's beef? So I understand competitiveness. So I just hope that this doesn't turn into an East Coast, West Coast thing and then it turns violent. You know what I'm saying? So we got to watch out for that because you got to think about it. Back in the days, people came together and made songs, you know what I'm saying, for Black unity. Can somebody tell me when the last time you saw a whole bunch of artists together like this, right? Doing songs for Black unity? I mean, I'm just saying. Self-destruction, stop the violence. This is back in the day. So this was a message from all of the artists back in that time period. You see the chains, see how he dress, you know what I'm saying? You see where they at, right? So, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, where's this type of movement today? I mean, somebody put it in the comment or something, you know what I'm saying? But I don't see anything like this. I don't see this coming about. I don't see this resonating. And if you look at, you know what I'm saying, in the background, all the different artists, they all do different types of music, but they all come together to do one type of music, and that's for unification. It's positive. Many different mindsets came together underneath the unification flag, yo. You feel me? So I'm just curious, once again, where is the movement? Why don't we have people trying to put movements like this together? Why? I'm curious. I mean, everybody, you know what I'm saying? I know they got their own little things going on, but all I see is beef. And as far as for East Coast, West Coast beef, we know what we lost. We know who we lost. And it was all for nothing. It was all for nothing. And I'm not going to say nothing as far as for, you know, humane things, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's just put it like this. If there was a scuffle, you know what I'm saying? Nobody really had to die for it. You know what I mean? Like, let's be real. You can just get your ass whipped. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep it there. Just get your ass whipped. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, it's like when you think about how devious these murders be, right? it stops a lot of progress, not just for that person and their family, but for the culture itself. It slows a lot of things down. And we've had so many different type of death in hip hop culture where it's like, what, we ain't learned yet? We not understanding what's going on? It's supposed to save us. It's not supposed to have us doing the shit that we was doing before we got involved in the culture. I'm just being real with y'all. Hold up. Look at this. You know what I'm saying? NWA, King T, right? Ice T, MC Hammer, Tone Loc, etc. So many of them in here, right? We all the same gang, right? where are these movements? Now, I've seen Kendrick just do this type of shit as far as for unification. I've seen it on the West Coast. We seen it on the West Coast. We seen it. We really seen it on the West Coast. That's why I figure it's so big what Kendrick did. You know what I'm saying? Like this is monumental. During this time period, with what was going on, this was monumental. And once again, I showed you the East Coast version. This is the West Coast version. So where is it now for the East Coast? Who's spearheading something for the East Coast? I would like to know. Because when you look at how hip hop is, it's certainly serving death on a silver platter. Just look at all that's going on, man. This is beautiful. This is unification. That's Drake right there. MC Ren. You know what I'm saying? Look at that. Tone Loc, Young MC. That's Young MC right there. Once again, different aspects of hip hop, different type of artists, all coming together under one flag of unification. Look at that. Humpty, Shock, G, and them niggas, yo. That's ill. You see where they at. This is hip hop. This is the power of hip hop. So all the murders and death that's going on, well, that have been going on after this, you know what I'm saying? It's like it slowed down after these songs were made, but then for some reason it picked back up. And all of a sudden, you know what I'm saying? This is what you see. Look at Hammer doing a song with people y'all wouldn't think Hammer would be doing a song with. Hammer in them streets. The people said Hammer was good for the environment. Literally. Look at Easy E, NWA. NWA doing a song with MC Hammer. I want you to understand how deep that is. On the basketball court. You see this? Unification, yo. So once again, like I said, dealing with the situation between Kendrick, Daylight, and Joey Badass, I hope it stays just music. Just music, because people, and I'm not even talking about the artists, the people that are supporting the artists, the people that be around the artists sometimes, they have a way of making things happen and the artist has no control over it. So I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Like, let's just keep it music. Let's please just keep it music. There's too much dumb shit going on. I mean, like, I'm just talking to y'all at this point. It's like, it's just too much dumb shit going on. You know what I'm saying? So let's be respectful as much as we can as far as for life being concerned. You know, once again, hip hop is a sport. You know what I mean? And but this is a literary culture. Deals with a pen. So the sport deals with the words, you know what I'm saying? Harshness of the words, the vibrations of the words, you know what I mean? The formulation of the words, you know what I mean? So let's try to keep it on that frequency. We don't have to take it to the guns, the knives, and shit like that. And like, it's not even worth it for real. If you don't have thick skin, I just say, don't say nothing when somebody say something, because then it's just like, oh, he ain't say nothing. All right, well, he ain't say nothing. You know what I'm saying? So it's just always left just open. But if you know you nice with whatever you do, and you got thick skin, proceed, yo. You know what I'm saying? Do you? But once again, just keep it literary, right? That's all I'm saying. Keep it literary. Hold up. I wish I could play it, you know what I mean? But I don't want it to get taken down. But I do have something that I am going to present. Make sure the volume is up. All right, so like I said, let's keep it, you know what I'm saying, as a literary culture. Let's make sure that we help keep the culture going, so therefore we could create businesses and eat off this for generations. You know what I'm saying? Let's not mistreat it. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep the bullshit out. You know what I mean? Leave the negative shit where you left it at, where you come from. Leave that shit there. When you come in this house, you know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, like, clean yourself up before you come in this house, yo. It's just the way it gotta be. Clean yourself up before you come in this house. We gotta gatekeep. You know what I'm saying? Shit, tired of this shit, man. Like, y'all niggas be tripping for real. Here we go.
Rap music had become the symbol of toughness and going against the grain, and it was exemplified by two sides, the East Coast and the West Coast. And this became a bitter rivalry that no one understood. But the rivalry started way before it actually started. So let's head back to the beginning in order for this to make sense. In the late 1970s, it all started in the Bronx neighborhood of New York City. That's where a DJ named Kool Herc is credited with making the first hip-hop beats. And this is how it went. A DJ would play beats on the loudspeaker, the whole neighborhood joined around, and then someone would hop on the microphone. And once this trend became a staple in the Bronx, the first rappers began to emerge. Names like Afrika Bambaataa and Grandmaster Flash started gaining major popularity. But they had a major issue. The industry wanted nothing to do with this new trend. It was seen as explicit, which is actually a lame excuse because rock music was way more explicit. The only difference is that rock music was, and on top of this, the music labels and radio stations didn't even want to classify it as music. So
hey, yo, like, share, subscribe, you know what I'm saying? Boom. Like, share, subscribe on this channel. This is East Coast versus West Coast beef. The entire story. Subscribe. Okay. Subscribe to Swamp Stories. You heard me? This is going to be good. Check it out. All right, back to the program.
Rappers had to find their own way to be heard, and there was only one way to do it: cassette tapes and train stations. They went to each borough throughout the city and distributed their tapes on every block. And over the next few years, the music began spreading like a wildfire. But as the music spread further, it also began to adapt to
the last ever 10X Growth Conference. Will you be there? We've done 10 of these, 10 in a row.
Regions it touched. The New York culture was very matter-of-fact, boom bap, and straight to the point. And that culture revealed itself in the music. Lyrics meant everything, and it was all about the punchlines. But when hip-hop reached the West Coast,
lyrics meant everything, and it was all about the punchlines. Lyrics meant everything. It's all about the punchlines. Shit. Get it through y'all head. Like, that's some real shit right there, man. Let me put it back a little bit real quick. Lyrics.
It also began to adapt to the different regions it touched. The New York culture was very matter-of-fact, boom bap, and straight to the point. And that culture revealed itself in the music. Lyrics meant everything, and it was all about the punchline.
Lyrics meant everything. It was all about the punchlines.
But when hip-hop reached the West Coast, it was bound to change in order to fit the culture. The New York vibe simply didn't fit the lifestyle, culture, or lingo of the West Coast. The West Coast is more laid back and chill, which is like a foreign concept to New Yorkers. Like, I just imagine people in New York waking up angry and start yelling at themselves in the mirror. I can't be the only one, right? Anyways, there is a technicality in this rivalry because the West Coast isn't just one culture. Let me explain. Northern California and Southern California are like two completely different states. And Northern California hates LA, but LA couldn't even care less.
Where are you from, bro? LA? What does that stand for? Loser, dude?
What does SF stand for? Startup failed. Whoa, dude.
But the Bay Area has felt like they came up with the sounds and lingo and that LA steals it and makes it more popular. So LA looks at Northern California like the football player who swears they would have made the league if they didn't tear their ACL in 7th grade. Bro, let's be real. The only reason I didn't make the league is... Shut up. LA did it better, so let's stop the whining. Anyways, West Coast rap actually originated in Northern California when a rapper named Too Short emerged with his debut album in 1987. And the album did extremely well. However, it did not get any love on the East Coast. The West Coast loved it because it was a new sound to their ears, but also because he spoke the word of the West Coast. The topics were as such: do as little as possible for a girl and see how much she can do for you. That's essentially what Northern California rap was all about, being a player. But on the East Coast, that scene is lame, and it always has been. If you go to Atlanta or New York and try to explain how things work on the West Coast, they will simply not believe you. I know so many people in the Bay Area that survive just on girls giving them money. Girls feel like they owe you for your time. It makes no sense to East Coast people. But not only did they see the lyrics as whack, but they also didn't like that the West Coast was stealing their new genre. Hip-hop was New York music, and the West Coast stole the idea, plain and simple. In fact, Too Short says that back then, even mentioning being from California was off limits on the East Coast. And that envy amplified the next year when LA came out with the hottest hip-hop group called NWA. In 1988, they released their debut album Straight Outta Compton, and it absolutely blew up more than ever expected. But again, the East Coast was not a fan. Unlike Too Short, NWA...
Let me explain something to y'all about NWA. NWA, when they hit the street, they hit like a nuclear bomb. Literally. The way that they were talking about law enforcement was like, what the fuck? What? The song they came out with called Fuck the Police. See, this is hip hop. This is hip hop culture. This is what hip hop was doing. Now, as far as for the tension between two coasts, that's just artistry and lyricism at this point. There's no violence.
Didn't rap about the life of a player. Instead, they rapped about living through the gang politics of Southern California. Although their lyrics still mattered, NWA was all about the feeling and making a statement. Their music made you feel like it was you against the world, fighting off rival neighborhoods, cops, and corrupt attorneys. West Coast rap wasn't pure and proper like how New York intended it to be. And honestly, they had every right to be upset. They felt like the West was changing what they created. However, these feelings of jealousy and envy were brushed under the rug for a while, mostly because the industry began...
Check this out. I'm going to show you how I afforded this car. Okay, you ready? All right.
And accepting East Coast rap and trying their best to vilify the West. For example, rappers like KRS-One were featured on the cover of The Source magazine despite selling less records than West Coast rappers. He sold back-to-back gold records, which is great, but Too Short went platinum back-to-back over the same time span. On top of this, NWA was completely rejected by the mainstream media.
Let's see, listen. Too Short and KRS-One are two different type of artists, right? But at the same time, just because Too Short went platinum does not mean that Too Short is a better artist penmanship wise than KRS-One. I don't give a fuck. But you got people that will have an argument about that.
And even worse, the police refused to protect them while they were on tour. This is a courtesy that police carry on for any large gathering. It's a no-brainer. But for NWA, a statement needed to be made against them and everything they represented. It got to the point where the FBI even sent them a letter threatening to take action against them. Well, not too long after, NWA fell apart because of internal issues and the media finally got what they pleased. But then came the 1990s when the media began to change their stance. The industry noticed a revelation. You can't stop the free market. You can paint the rappers in whatever light you please. The people will still ultimately decide whether the music will continue or not. They could not have possibly painted a worse picture of NWA, Too Short, and whoever else. But that only made the rappers more famous. Ultimately, the people want what they want. So the industry had to adjust their angle. Instead of trying to conceal drama, beef, and gangster rap, they had to promote it. But instead of F the police, let's pin the people against each other and make as much money as possible off of it. Now that's just how I imagine that it took place, but I could be wrong.
This is what I mean by fuck the mainstream. They pushing this shit, yo, for dollars and cents. Your traumas are being monetized for dollars and cents.
Wrong, of course, but that's just how capitalism works. Whether you like something or not, you get with the times and try to make as much money as you can. Well, the industry knew about the tensions between the East and West Coast. However, it was not that deep at first before they pushed the narrative. New York was obviously envious of the West Coast taking their music.
Yeah, you got to understand something. If I'm sitting in the boardroom, right, and I'm not involved in none of that shit, but it's just business for me, I can draw up something that could possibly make money once I put it in a certain format to monetize it. So I don't have any type of empathy. I just know about data and money. And that's how this mainstream shit goes. This is why so many deaths are occurring at rapid rates.
Changing it and then selling more records than them. And the West Coast saw the East Coast as proper, lame, and lacking style. I mean, in retrospect, that's probably true. For example, Sugar Hill Gang was from a suburban...
Hold up, wait a minute. As far as for artists dying from death of substances and stuff like that, record labels will tell you real quick, we not rehabs, we sell records. You know what I'm saying? Artists know they need to check themselves and do X, Y, Z. That's not our job. We sell records.
New Jersey town and rapped about PG-13 topics, but that was the extent of the issues by all accounts, and it was really an LA versus New York cultural battle, and it all started in 1991. Let me introduce you to a man named Timothy Blair, more commonly known as Tim Dog. Tim Dog was from the Bronx, and he was overshadowed by all the other rappers, and despite not even being a top New York rapper, he decided that the West Coast was the reason he wasn't getting any love. So on November 12th, 1991, he released an EP called Penicillin on Wax, and the entire project was dedicated to dissing the West Coast, but more importantly, NWA. One of the songs was even called Compton, and the lyrics were pretty interesting. After 2 minutes of clowning NWA, Tim Dog made a statement that spoke for the whole East Coast. He said, "What are you even fighting for? Fighting over colors? All that gang shit for dumb Then he said, come to New York and see who gets robbed. And after the diss, the media finally gave him what he wanted, clout. But
this game, you're not ready.
just like Tekashi Rat 9's shock value only lasts so long, and Tim Dog's career slowly started to vanish. However, New York's condescending view of the West Coast did not, and it only got worse when new stars began emerging. By 1992, the West Coast had new superstars, and it was done in an unconventional way. The old way to make your way into the industry, you had to pass through a major label. Instead, Suge Knight started his own label called Death Row Records. And once Dr. Dre and the DOC left NWA and Ruthless Records, this was the perfect spot. Later that same year, he dropped The Chronic, and many people don't know that he actually dissed Tim Dog on the album.
That album was the hardest album for like 2-3 years. When that shit dropped, the West Coast had hip hop on smash. I'm talking about on smash. This is where Dre, you know what I'm saying, he did his shit with NWA, Trust and Believe. But when he did the Chronic, classic fucking album. If you haven't heard the Chronic, you need to go listen to it. Put that in your hip hop archives for real. The Chronic. Nobody did an album like this shit before. Nobody.
If you know what song, please let me know in the comments. Well, The Chronic went triple platinum and made the East Coast even more envious than ever. And then came Snoop Dogg, who may have passed up too short as having the most degrading lyrics of all time. Well, it was degrading to New Yorkers, but us on the West Coast, that's just how the game goes. It's normal for girls to be talked to like that, and it's not even seen as disrespect. Well, ultimately, New York's rap scene was getting played out and corny, just like Russell Wilson. I'm just kidding, but they did need a taste of the future, and that came in 1993 with Bad Boy Records. Sean Combs invested in the notorious B.I.G. and Craig Mack, and instantly the East Coast was back in the game. But before the beef between the labels, there was no bad blood in the slightest, and that takes us to June of 1992. So let me set the context. At this point, Tupac is a star, but more for being in the movie Juice than for his music. And Biggie Smalls had a few songs out, but he was not a star yet. Well, Tupac is on the set of Poetic Justice and starts playing a Biggie Smalls song called Party and Bullshit. Well, it turns out that Biggie happened to be visiting the set at the same time. And remember, at this point, New York rappers have no clue how the West Coast are going to react to them. However, Biggie walks over to Tupac and tells him that that's his song he's playing. From there, Tupac shows him love and says that he loves his music. And the next thing you know, Tupac invites Biggie and his New York crew over to his house. He barbecues for them, and then they have a rap battle between the East and West Coast. Everything is good. Biggie even said that they clicked right away and they were cool from then on. Later that year, Biggie even invited Tupac to New York where they performed together and everything. But everything changed on November 30th, 1995. Tupac Tupac has a legal case in New York that he has to appear in court for on October 1st, so he heads to New York. Well, Bad Boy Records gets word of his arrival, and their rapper Lil Sean invites Tupac to the studio to perform a verse. So Tupac shows up to the building and walks to the elevator. But right there are three men waiting for him. They demand he give them his jewelry, and after a struggle, the three men run away, and there is Tupac in the lobby waiting for an ambulance.
When that shit happened, let me tell you something. The industry changed within itself. Like, this is Tupac got shot. You understand me? Like, technically, this is like one of the first shootings in hip hop, right? Just so happened it's Tupac. The game changed from then on out, for real, for real. Now, I'm not saying other dudes didn't get shot for whatever they was doing outside of music. What I'm saying is this is industry beef, right? Crazy.
Then Biggie and Puffy rush down to the lobby to check on him, and Tupac flips them off while he's being carried away. He ends up surviving, and here is where everything gets interesting. Biggie and Puffy instantly deny any involvement in what happened. In fact, they said that they knew nothing about what was going to happen and they wanted to make it right. But let's be logical here. How else would the three men know when and where to locate Tupac? Someone within the Bad Boy circle had to have given the drop on Tupac, and that's exactly how he felt. However, he was unable to voice his opinion for quite some time. That's because he was convicted in a separate case just a few days later. And the most gangster part about it is that the judge offered to move.
Hey, if you live in one of these cities right here, why don't you own an apartment building? Seriously, let me show you a path.
Move back the case until Tupac fully recovered. But Tupac showed up to the original date in a wheelchair looking like a complete mess. I don't know about you guys, but I think that was legendary. However, what Tupac would do next was not. While at Rikers Island, Tupac would do an interview with Kevin Powell. And during the interview, he blatantly pins the Quad Studio incident on Biggie and Puff. The famous quote is, "I know who got me." Now, in today's time, this would be considered snitching. It's the same thing that Gucci did after he believed that Jeezy set him up. But what do you guys think? Is this snitching? Let me know in the comments. Well, shortly after this, Suge Knight ended up bailing out Tupac and signing him to Death Row Records. And this is when the Battle of the Coasts really began. At every single opportunity, Tupac and Death Row took shots at Bad Boy. However, on the other hand, Biggie Smalls tried to downplay it every single time. And Puff.
Do y'all see what happened with the way the industry changed? Now this is how records are getting ready to start being sold. And you see who was in the forefront, right? Look at his ass. Right there. Diddy.
He even visited Tupac at Rikers Island to clarify that he was not involved in any ways. But despite this effort, the West was not trying to hear it, and neither was Tupac. So the disrespect coming from the West simply kept getting worse and worse. And that takes us to August 3rd, 1995. Back in the 90s, the Source Awards were the most important night of the year in hip-hop. People saw the Grammys as being rigged for Starbucks drinkers, so this was really the night for the culture. And Death Row made sure to send a message in front of a national audience. And here's the craziest part. The award show happened to be in New York City. So Suge Knight goes up to the podium with confidence and takes a major shot at Puffy. And here's what he said.
Any artist out there want to be an artist and want to stay a star, don't have to worry about the executive producer trying to be all in the videos, all on the record, dancing. Come to Death Row.
This was
Come to Death Row. You know, I want you, you know what I'm saying, the person that's running the shit all in your videos, dancing and shit. You want to be an artist, just come on over here.
a major dig at Puffy for being in all the Bad Boy music videos. Well, the entire crowd boos him, and it only gets worse when Snoop Dogg goes up to receive his award.
The East Coast don't love Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg. The East Coast ain't got no love for Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg and Death Row. Y'all don't love us. Y'all don't love us. Well, let it be known then. We know y'all East Coast. We know we at East Coast and out.
You see this shit? Do y'all see this? See, this is what I'm trying to tell y'all. Daylight, Joey Badass, and Kendrick. I already see what vibe Kendrick on. You know what I'm saying? We all in the same gang. You know what I mean? I'm just hoping that the East Coast understands about self-destruction, so that way we can just keep it on the lyrics for real, for real.
Thankfully, at the end of the show, Puffy went on stage and called for the East and West beef to stop. However, this did nothing to stop it. In fact, this is when the fans got immersed more in the beef. The East and West Coast became complete rivals, and you better know what not to play in each region. That's how serious it was. Well, after a year of waiting, Tupac came up with a master plan. He knew that Biggie was having issues with his wife, Faith Evans, even to the point where the two split apart. So Tupac then gets in contact.
Y'all see this? Y'all see this? Look how sinister this shit gets, yo. This doesn't do anything good for anything. I mean, I'm just saying, like, if Pac was still here, a lot of things would have been changed, because he was changing, understanding that everything that was going on was for nothing. It was for bullshit. You know what I'm saying? He could have been pushing and doing some other things. Get ready to get a film studio and all that other type shit, yo.
With Faith Evans. He tells her that he loves her music and that he wants a feature from her. Now, at this time, you had to actually be in the studio together because there was no emailing songs. So they meet up at the studio and take a picture. Pac allegedly offers her $250,000 for the feature, which back then is equivalent to $500,000 today. So I would say that Pac was not being serious, and after she does the feature, he actually refuses to pay her. Now, this is according to her, so let me be clear. Faith Evans claims that Tupac would only pay her the feature money if she let him, you know what. She then claims that she declined the offer. Well, Tupac had a completely different story, and he would let it all be known on the legendary song called Hit 'Em Up. He says, "I f***ed your wife, you f***." And that became one of the...
Boy, listen. See, this song right here, like I said, if you got tough skin, you know what I'm saying, it's all good, you know what I'm saying? But wow, like, hip-hop get brutal like that. That's why I say it's a blood sport, metaphorically, you know what I mean?
Coldest bars in rap history, and it definitely stung Biggie deep down. It's rumored that he confronted his wife about if it's true or not, and she has stayed consistent that nothing ever happened between her and Tupac. However, many fans believe that she's lying, but what do you guys think? Is she shady for even considering?
She lying. She don't want her son, you know what I'm saying, her children to know that she slept with her father's op.
Doing a feature for Tupac, nonetheless linking up with him. Either way, things would only escalate from here on out. Death Row's group, the Dog Pound, released
to be donning the mantle and being handed the shield. It matters so much.
A song called New York, New York, and recorded the video in Times Square. Well, New York group Mobb Deep would fire back with LA, LA in return.
Peace to the gods.
But that was just music and playful dissing. However, what would happen next would shock the country. 1996. At this point, many will tell you that Tupac was at his wildest stage. He felt invincible, or better yet, he just didn't care anymore. He was down to confront anyone, and he never hid behind security. Sadly, this attitude would cost him. And that takes us to September 7th, 1996. Las Vegas, Nevada. Tupac flies into Las Vegas to attend a Mike Tyson fight, but before he goes to the event, he heads to a party. And there, he runs into the Southside Crips, a notorious Compton gang. These guys are known throughout LA, especially for their rivalry with the mob Pyru. And they're definitely known to start problems. Well, so is Tupac, and this combination is a disaster waiting to happen. And things turn left when Tupac feels disrespected. So he walks up to one of the men and he knocks down Orlando Baby Lane Anderson, one of the coldest to ever come out of Compton. And this guy just got embarrassed in front of everyone, so you know he's ready to make a statement. So fast forward to the fight, and Tupac has a wild night. Apparently, he was yelling and talking trash non-stop throughout the night. Well, Mike Tyson ends up winning the fight, and Tupac leaves the arena with Suge Knight in his BMW 750. Well, they head down the Las Vegas Strip when a car pulls beside. Bang! Instantly, all eyes are on one person and one person only, Notorious B.I.G. So he, along with Puffy, were questioned by the FBI and were later determined to not be suspects. Instead, rumors started flooding the streets about Southside's involvement. Either way, everyone was still looking at Biggie for whatever reason. So Puff Daddy and Snoop Dogg came together and gave a speech calling for a West Coast.
You see how Puff Daddy is involved in the declination of hip-hop culture? Do y'all see that shit? You understand what I'm saying? Like he just turned it into something else.
East Coast truce, and they insinuated that Biggie had nothing to do with this. However, that
once again from his mainstream point of view, because this is the nigga that actually really made what people go through in hip hop today in order to get on in the mainstream on these major labels. It's all his doing.
may not have been the case. That takes us to March 7th, 1997. Biggie flies into LAX for the 1997 Soul Train Awards. And at the show, he was booed relentlessly for what happened to Tupac. And on top of this, Tupac's All Eyes on Me won Hip Hop Album of the Year. Well, let's fast forward 2 days later on March 9th, 1997. Compton police receive a tip that Biggie Smalls is at the South Park in Compton. This just happens to be in the middle of the South Side territory. However, this tip was no reason to arrive at the scene, so Compton police let it slide. Rumors hit the streets that Biggie owed them money. For what? Who knows? And apparently he never paid them. Well, Biggie brushes it off and heads to a vibe party. At 1 a.m., Biggie leaves the party and drives down Wilshire Boulevard. That's when a Chevy Impala pulls up right beside him. Bang! This incident would once again shock the world, and it even caused some people to believe that this was the end of rap music. The genre's two biggest stars were gone within 6 months of each other.
Like, share, subscribe on both of our channels. You know what I'm saying? Put your comments if you got anything to say about anything that's going on. You know what I mean? How you feel about this Daylight, Kendrick Lamar, and Joey Badass situation. And hopefully, you know what I'm saying, West Coast, East Coast beef will just be kept, you know what I'm saying, with the pen.
However, no one will ever know the truth about what really went down. Did Bad Boy set up Tupac at Quad Studios? Did Biggie set up Tupac in Las Vegas? And finally, was Biggie's passing revenge for Tupac? Either way, the whole East Coast, West Coast drama calmed down after this. And these days, everyone just seems to enjoy the music. Now, I have to admit that Tupac's music was stood the test of time much more than Biggie's. But what do you guys think? Which artist was greater? That's gonna do it for this episode of Swamp Stories. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new. Peace.
Yeah, like I was telling y'all, you know what I'm saying? You got to keep it at a point where it's like, it's just music. You know what I'm saying? You got to just do music. Keep it as just music. It's not hard to keep it as just music. You know what I'm saying? Hell no, brother. Yeah. We just gotta keep it, you know what I'm saying, at a level where you know, we can still be competitive, but we just gotta honor life for real. You know what I mean? It's not hard. You have to just have respect for life. You know what I mean? You have to have respect for life. You don't have no honor for life, yo, then, you know, death becomes you. We got to keep it, you know what I'm saying? We just got to keep it at a sports level. You don't see football players really shooting each other and shit like that. I mean, come on, be fucking real. You know what I mean? Man, ain't no telling what could be going on if Pac and Biggie was still here. And that's just real tough. Man, like I said, ain't no telling what could be going on if they were still here. Ain't no telling. The hell? Man, let's go, man. Man. Trying to let y'all know, man. Kendrick did something big on the West. And that's salute, you know what I'm saying? Because we hadn't seen it since, was that We the Same Gang. To be totally honest with you. That was big. That was real big. You know what I mean? God damn, yo. It's almost sad the way that this shit is going, to be totally honest with you. It's almost sad. We're going to keep it moving, though, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna leave y'all with this.
Became the reflection of our oppressor. I can't believe that they settle for lesser. I want better. We need an exorcism on the cheddar. Money is evil. People will deceive you. Take away your shelter and clothes. Never feed you. Every other day, some nigga trying to beat you instead of teach you. Most of these niggas, they wanna bleed you. Shit's hot every day. I got a fever. Allah see everything. Yeah, nigga, I see ya. Devil's got beef. I bring the I keep a trick up my sleeve, yeah. My style feel like Sour Diesel. Rhyme book, resting on the easel. Your profile didn't pass my eval, wow. I seen a snake crack a smile and cry the tears of a crocodile. And up in the sky is a mile high. They want American pie. 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 Going for my independence, nigga, I live this. Born and raised in music to be the illest. One of the realest niggas that ever kill this shit. Supreme lyricist with the aim of a marksman, bitch. I be chillin' like the scorpion inside of the matrix. Morpheus, cold-blooded amphibian. Watch a Democrat fight a libertarian. Scary times that we live in. Lead still exists inside our fucking children. The golf course just got 1 million. Record labels and drug dealing, Kratom, oh what a feeling. That left Lil Wayne stuck to the ceiling. Said stop snitching, niggas still squilling. Shout out to all my real ones. They want American pie. 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 They want American pie.
Till the day that I die, I wanna grasp of that American pie. Under clay skies, concrete roads and strive. The wind that I feel is Mother Nature's sigh. I'm in the first world, the point most high. At the peak yet seek things for my decline. Controlled environments, but reality denies all this fluff and the happiness subsides. Silence, only holograms can buy. Looking at your screens, complaining the obscene. All the mean tweets at you, yet you're searching for a mean, all for comfort, overcoming disease. While over yonder, dark people fiend, but with their needs, you are amongst fiends. Whose mind is in the third world that the country hurled into the alleyway of papers that whirl around bodily constitutions that comfort, they only see a delusion. They try to touch, but can't, so much confusion. Unbroken circles with no intrusion. American pie.